Hi everyone. So I'm going to continue on with my series of energy and presence. So last time I spoke about my belief that mindfulness or silent meditation is a great way to really get attuned with a simple sense of what it is to feel your energy and to feel your energy in a state of presence. So to be with who you are, to check out where the fray of your thoughts and your emotions are when you just try and sit with yourself. And to that way to have a quick assessment of your upkeep of yourself and your own energy and your own anxiety and your own inner work. It's a great litmus test. It's a great first indicator. And to practice this over a couple weeks, a couple months, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then maybe if you want to go longer, 15 minutes, then maybe if you really start to love it, 20 minutes a day, either in the morning or in the evening. This is just a quick recap. And what you notice is that when you sit with the same level of fray that you feel in the beginning and you just sit through it and you let yourself wander and you know that you have no responsibilities towards it, you know that you are just sitting with what's going on inside of yourself anyway, then eventually you realize the same fray, the same onslaught of thoughts, emotions continues, but you start to enter a more calm state with it. Or some days you don't. Some days the mind is just busy till the end, but at least you know that you sat with yourself for a moment. And it's the conditioning of this over time that starts to change your perspective. Just like in most of my videos, I emphasize this idea of conditioning ourselves to have new perspective on old habits or old ways of functioning or parts of ourselves that we thought were responsible, that we thought came as a result of this and that factor, and actually how we can change the view on that and approach it differently. And energy is definitely one of those places. So to add to that practice, guys, I want to add this notion of automatic writing and journaling. So this is a practice that I do regularly in the morning, especially when I'm going through a situation where I want things to shift. There's some things coming up. Or if I just want to start the day just without certain anxieties that have been ruminating over days, weeks, months, whatever, it's a great way to purge what is in your system as you wake up with that anxiety. So how to do it? You get a notebook, you get a pen, and first thing in the morning when you wake up, you go straight to that notebook and you write 3 pages, and you don't think about what you're writing, you just write what you're thinking. Just write and write and write, and the theory is, and this is taken from a book called The Artist's Way. It's a great exercise, and the theory is by the 3rd page you start to reach your subconscious. So at the beginning you might just be angry at being tired. I write about dreams if they're the first thing that happened before I wake up, but like if that's not what comes naturally when you come to the page, maybe just let it come. Maybe it'll come in the 2nd page. Maybe it won't come at all, and so you're not supposed to write about that dream. You know, just trust yourself in this situation. Trust what's coming up. Trust where you are, and you do this over a week. Try it over a week. What I've been doing is writing, get those 3 pages down. I don't obsess or mull over them, and then I go straight into my meditation. So what happens is I brought all this stuff up in an accelerated pace where I'm not just witnessing it, I'm actually writing it down onto a page. I'm actually seeing, if I follow the same train of thought, what it leads me to, what's underneath, what's those core emotions, what's those real factors that's vibrating underneath, creating all these little anxieties towards what seems to be more menial, more minor things, but it's actually because you're seeing the world through a lens of this other thing stuck underneath that's kind of vibrating its own anxieties into every little experience that we have, and so then the little things are bugging us because we're not facing this larger thing. And it could be something that just shifts in a day that you just need to write it out that morning, and then it's there. At least it's now in the conscious mind, it's out in the open. You can look at it, you can have feelings and opinions towards it outside of yourself as something that you're standing in front of rather than wearing. And so what I like to do is I like to bring it up, and I still like to trust my subconscious a lot, because a lot of your processing, you know, it's trying to heal you. We're always trying to heal ourselves. So I'll bring it up, and whilst it's still up, by the time I reach the 3rd page, then I'll just go into my meditation for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and I'll just sit with what's coming up at that deeper level, because I've already written out my morning surface of flotsam, of scum over the real substance of what's underneath. And just again, one of the parts of this practice is just to know that you can feel it and be all right. You can feel it and be all right. Technically, you're moving through that energy. And then you may be more clear when you come back to yourself that like, okay, I have all these responsibilities, needs, duties, but I don't need to have this frantic energy towards them. And when you don't have that frantic energy towards them, sometimes the solutions just come more easily because you're entering the universe with that more steady, more harmonious sense of energy. And what happens with your energy is your external circumstances start to reflect your internal state. Whether you want to consider this a subconscious conversation, so you're actually calling out into play the right obstacles you need to work through these fraught emotions so you can learn and condition yourself to feel like you can handle this situation. This is what our dreams do with things that we haven't processed in the day. We take them into sleep and they try and process them there. But a lot of the times, I now view with this energy stuff that waking reality is still somewhat of a replication of our dream state, except we're given the illusion of measure of control. And actually, if you actually trust your system, just like your dreams will process things for you in a state of surrender, you can't help it, you're sleeping if you're dreaming. That if you know, if you trust your intuition in the day, you follow your feelings, you follow your gut, and you trust in abundance, you're doing mindset things, well, at this point we're talking about just being curious and excavating and letting us be able to be present with what comes up. So I feel like that's a first step in learning to manage your energy. Is first to get comfortable with with what comes up normally, and then go from there. So again, to recap, I'd say mindfulness, and then add journaling to your practice if you want to sit through something after if you want to bring up something to sit through that's even deeper with your meditative practice. First, just learn to enjoy just being with yourself. Then learn to get curious about what lives underneath. And what you'll notice with the journaling is that tension will be alleviated throughout the day because you've purged it first thing in the morning. Another great time to journal is if you really can't sleep. You really can't sleep. Again, there's this fray. Maybe there's too much things to process for you to take into the sleep world and for dreams to deal with. So if you just write it out and face your fear of actually facing it and just know that you're just writing it out. It doesn't mean you're making it real. It doesn't mean you're giving it more energy. You're writing it out. It's in the language, writing it out. It's in your subconscious anyway. You're bringing it to conscious light. You can change your relationship with it from there. You don't have to even read it over that night. You can read it over in a week. Guys, any of this stuff, you don't need to read it over the same day. You will feel called to the moment when you probably should read it over. And when you're reading it over, just feel the emotions. Notice the patterns. See who you are from bird's eye view. And then you can ask your subconscious. You can start journaling things, say before you go to sleep, that you'd like to then accomplish, that you'd like to then plant a seeds in your mind, given the patterns you're seeing. And then from here, you can start to work into a routine of what you want to achieve with your energy, what you want to give your energy to solve for you. So I'm going to stop there. I think this is another good level. And I hope you guys are enjoying this series, how to manage your energy, starting with presence, now adding in journaling. Guys, if you want to take another step in the morning, another step forward with the journaling, the meditation, and again, this is my routine, but it works for me, so I'm going to share it with you. You can mix and match these things. If you already, I would suggest putting in a practice of yoga or some kind of exercise or some kind of movement, because if you've trudged stuff up, then you've sat with it and it's in the body, and then you go into movement, especially with a movement with a requirement for breath, such as working out, such as yoga. Then you're opening yourself up and even releasing that from the body. You're distracting the mind, you're changing your state. You felt all that stuff, and then now you're coming back to presence in a different and deeper way. So I suggest these 3 things as a morning routine if you really want to dive deep into getting to know your own energy. And you can start there. You can start with just the meditation, the journaling. If you have your own practices, you know they work for you. You get up, you garden, you do things like this. Please continue that stuff. Gardening especially is very grounding. You're actually putting your hands in the soil. If you're in Antigua, I suggest that you do this barefoot, somewhere warm. Do it barefoot, really connect. Even speak to the trees, even listen to them. Guys, it's all information. It's all information. And when we start to learn that we can listen and receive information, that we're receiving information from all the stimulus, and it becomes language and becomes thought and it becomes emotions inside of us as human beings, then we start to really get an understanding of what we're a part of what it means to be oneness, of what it means for other people to be a reflection of who we are. If we're taking that fraught, that anxious energy out there, they're going to become the thing to face, the dragon to face, to solve those emotions, because you are putting that is in your subconscious and it's going out there and it's attracting the right person for you to come out of that pattern. But to come out of that pattern, you're going to have to face it enough times that at some point you find one little niche, one little difference in the way you approach it. And a lot of times being present in those moments is that key to find that new thing to say, to find that new outcome, to have let go of some tension that you wake up with in the morning so you don't bring that to the moment, so you just are naturally going to behave differently. You're viewing something that you do subconsciously, so naturally you're going to have maybe a sense of responsibility yourself towards this thing that you keep seeing. Maybe it's something you let go, maybe something that doesn't serve you. Maybe it's just something that you need to change your relationship to. Then you start changing your patterns and you start changing energetically what you're connected to in the physical realm. And guys, we're going to stop there because then it starts to get really deep. And this is really our relationship with ourselves, deeply and spiritually. But I'm going to go over some reminders in the next episode of what you need to keep in check when you start to reach this level, and what's important for you, to start to realize, what's important once you want to take up your energy practices seriously, what the shifts will lead to, and what it'll enhance, what it'll make stronger, what it'll make appear more quickly in your life, and how to know if you're ready for that or if you just want to stay with presence, because that's a beautiful place to start. I start with more Buddhist beliefs, relativity and all this, and it's still my main go-to because it's still the place I find the most love in. We're actually just here, part of the divine comedy, to experience it all. The divine comedy, guys, here to experience it all. So I'm going to stop there. Please, guys, again, if you have any questions about this, if you're going through your own journey with energy, you want more information, you can reach out to me, you can comment. I'll look at the comments. We can find a way to communicate. We can maybe go through a healing session. I can see what I can do for you. That would be my pleasure. I'm going to be bringing out some meditations soon that people will be able to do in their own time that will help them, if they already have a meditative practice, add a layer to actually tap into their energy and start healing it, either through connecting to earth energy or source energy. These are things that I will talk about later as well in other episodes. For now, I just hope you guys are having a great time. I'm sending all that love out there. This is Healer Holly, over and out. Oh yeah, and if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Tell a friend, share it with someone who it might be helping. Even if it doesn't make sense to you, maybe there's a friend that talks about this stuff and is looking for this kind of guidance. Show them this. I'd appreciate it, and I hope they'd appreciate it.